buckle up, because this episode of Motorhead Garage is gonna fly by. Welcome to another edition of Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat. Now, this is going to be a great show, and I know that because we have two amazing builds. First of all, this Jeep Gladiator. It's a 2020, and by the way, it has a Hellcat engine in it. We're going to talk about that one in a little bit, but I want to start out with this Wrangler. It's a 2021. The build is amazing. The closer you look, the more amazing it gets, and it comes to us courtesy of our friends at DTO Customs. Lane, tell me about this vehicle.
Hey Dave, thanks for having us. So this is one of our premier level builds that we basically build everything from the ground up, custom to our customers wants, or just what we kind of like on the lot. We started off this with an Evo Manufacturing 5-inch lift kit, custom powder coated it blue. It's got the king coilovers, and it's one awesome ride. On the front, we start with the road armor kit, so we got the bumpers, the fenders, the side steps, and everything to match, all color painted. And on this hood, we did our overtread off-road hood that we really love. It really sets off the front end, gives it a very beefy, aggressive, look coming down the road.
Now let's talk about the hood. How much of this is functional? How much ventilation are you actually getting to the engine?
So all these side vents and the top air vents are all functional. You get a little bit more air coming out, as well as make the engine a little cooler.
And it looks great too.
It definitely does that.
Well, since we're talking about what's under the hood, tell me what's there.
This is a 3-liter Eco Diesel engine. It's kind of new to the Jeep Wrangler market. It's awesome. It's got a lot of torque. It's very peppy, and it brings a whole new kind of level of excitement to these Jeep owners.
Well, the thing that really stands out to me, this is a stock engine. This is something you can get from the factory.
Yes, sir. This comes straight from Jeep. This one has about 442 pounds of torque.
Ooh, and how much horsepower?
Probably around 295. It'll go anywhere you need to.
Then you've got tow hooks and winches. Tell me about those.
Yeah, so we've got a winch up front, and we've got the road armor shackles. Those are both rated to 40,000 pounds each shackle. So whether you need a buddy to tow you out or hook up around a tree with your little shackle, it's awesome. It'll pull you out.
And of course, you need to get that power to the ground.
So on all four corners, we're running the Nitto Ridge Grapplers, the 38 by 1250 by 22. And on here, we're running the XF forged wheels. They're pretty awesome in this black and milled accents.
And kind of spinners there as we look at the...
yeah, pretty cool logo they make. No matter what, when you're going down the road, it'll always stay logo up.
So you've looked at functionality, but style is a big part of your build here too.
Our main goal is make a Jeep that looks great. It can go off-road, but it's also going to go real smooth down the highway going to work.
One thing you guys have done, I love these fender flares.
These are the Road Armor Stealth integrated LED fender flares, so they're part of that whole kit we use. It just makes a really nice surround look, so the bumper, the fenders, the side steps, and even these body-mounted light bars. It just gives you a really cool, aggressive look, and it even options with the LED lights and the turn signals.
Now, you've mentioned some of the brands you've used in the build, whether it's the wheels or the light bars or the flares. What does that say about you guys, the brands that you're using?
We really try to use the best brands as they provide the best quality and the best fit, and that's kind of what our motto is. Give the best brand, the best quality service, and just have the best time possibly buying a custom Jeep.
It's really important to you guys to give the customer the experience that they want. And what do they need to do when they come to you and they want a Jeep like this?
All kinds of different layouts. We can order these straight from Jeep with no miles, and you build it exactly how you want. Sometimes you don't want to wait the 2 months for it to come off that factory line. So we find one on the lot that we already have. We've got a lot of vehicles in inventory, some sitting stock, some of them just have a lift kit on them. We're going to make your dream come true. It's just kind of picking your base platform.
And you say you've got stuff on the lot. Like, how many models are you talking?
Right now, probably around 75 Jeeps on the lot.
Oh my goodness, and they're all like this, they're all builds like this?
All crazy builds, all kinds of flavors, as we like to say.
That's great. How important is it for you to give the customer that experience, to enjoy the car buying experience like that?
Our customer service is our main priority. Selling cool vehicles is our second.
And one thing we didn't touch on is the interior.
Yeah, so this is a custom leather interior we do with Aaliyah leather. Other than that, it's stock. Jeep offers a great product, and as they've grown over the years, so is our business, because now we've got a great adaptable vehicle that people are going to love just for their daily life, as well as having this really awesome appearance. So we only really touch up the leather and sometimes have to add heated seats, but it's just kind of form-fitting to every customer.
The thing I like about your philosophy is you want to make this capable of off-roading, but also capable and pleasant to drive on the road. So that leaves only one thing for us. I'm going to go drive this thing.
Sounds good to me.
All right, Matt, this thing is incredible already. It feels great, even though we're 5 inches higher than a stock Jeep. But one of the things you guys didn't tell me about was the soft top. Tell me how that works.
Oh yeah, that's a new feature that they put in the JL model. That's a one-touch sky top. It's so awesome. It really is one touch.
Oh.
It operates almost like a pano roof with a sailcloth. But what's neat about it is the rear windows will still come out, so you have an open air frame. You can open and close these things on the highway up to 50 miles per hour.
And that's what I love about what you guys do at DTO Customs. You make a vehicle that looks great, but it's pleasant to drive. How important is that to you?
Jeepers love their Jeeps, and we love giving them what they want. So ride quality is the most important thing to us, because guess what? A lot of these people have family, they have kids. We want to make sure that they're getting in something that they can feel safe in.
I know another thing you guys are concerned about is the buying process, and you've revolutionized that as well.
We do aggressive online pricing, so we're very fair on our pricing, and that's how we're reaching so many customers all throughout the United States. They research the pricing, what it should cost if they do it themselves. They factor in the time it's going to take, and they realize, wow, this is much better than what I could do on my own, mainly because we're collaborating all these companies together to get everything done at one place for them. It's a one-stop shop.
Well, DTO Customs has made the driving experience amazing, and they've made the buying experience amazing as well. You can check them out at DTOcustoms.com, and we are going to see more from them when we come back to Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, right after this.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, is brought to you by Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. Rugged Restore, superior quality, performance, and protection. AP Laser, leading the way. And by Top Coat. Don't just coat it, top coat it.
Oh man, what a ride in this 2021 Wrangler. This thing is incredible. Welcome back to Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat. This Wrangler, by the way, comes to us from our friends at DTO Customs. They've got some great looking builds, and we talked earlier about this one over here with the Hellcat. Yeah, this Jeep Gladiator, it's a 2020 with the Hellcat under the hood. And Harry, this thing's all about performance. Tell me about this Jeep.
You were able to see some of the builds that we had that Lane went over, but we're also into the performance side of it. In this particular vehicle here, we installed a TerraFlex Alpine 8-arm lift kit, wrapped it in some Nitto mud grapplers, but what really sets this one apart is that America's Most Wanted performed the Hellcat engine swap on this. They go through the entire engine, changing your parts from your radiators to your gears to your rears. Everything comes together in this for the total performance package. And these guys, with the quality of work that they do, it lines right with the vision that DTO Customs has.
And you touched on suspension. How hard is it to get the geometry right when you're lifting a vehicle like that, and then when you're putting this much power to all four wheels?
Exactly. So you want to make sure that for the person that does choose to use this for their daily driver, that you have all of your measurements, your articulation, everything is aligned. Not only will it perform on the daily basis, but it's also going to perform under the performance aspect of it as well. Lane mentioned it earlier that customer service really is our #1 priority. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters to us is people have dreamed about these vehicles for years. And we want to make sure that the performance, the quality, the fit, and the finish are all up to their expectations. If they're not happy, we're not happy. One of the things that we really want people to understand is we stock these vehicles. We're part of a franchise auto group. We can do business with clients and never have a face-to-face conversation with them. Everything is done online, whether it's financing. We have lenders in place that not only will they lend on the vehicle as a stock vehicle, but they'll also lend on the amount of the conversions that we install on the vehicle as well. So people can go into this with 0 down on a custom vehicle. I don't know of anybody else out there that really has this capability. Another collaboration that we have is a team of technicians that they do not change oil. They build custom modified vehicles every single day that they come into the shop. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for people that want to be the best of the best to build these out for the final delivery to the customer. We're able to ship door to door, regardless of where you're at in the United States. The other thing that we do is the after service that comes along with it. You know, we're very proud of our reviews. This is something that we've worked hard for. We started with 1 Jeep, and now we build and sell 40 of these per month.
Incredible.
And they're going all over the country. It's amazing, and we love what we do.
How long is this process going to take if I want to order something from the ground up?
So what we do in this case here, if someone is starting from the factory, you know, you may incur 6 to 8 weeks of wait time. But we also stock vehicles there that are brand new, waiting to be built if somebody doesn't have a specific build that they want. From the time that we get a unit on ground, we can take a vehicle like this or like the one that we previously showcased, and we can have one of those done in about 10 days. And that makes no difference if it's a lift, if it's paint, if it's leather, whatever the case may be. 10 days is about how long it takes for us to wrap one of these up.
Okay, you know what, that's all fascinating and really cool stuff, but I just want to drive it. Can I get behind the wheel?
What are we waiting on?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Harry, this thing feels mean already.
Man, wait. So I got to spend 6 hours in this yesterday. Yeah. The performance is amazing. I know what it'll do, but This is your time now, man.
All right, well.
Do your thing. This is you.
All right, first thing I'm going to do is stand on it. Here we go.
Hit it.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my gosh. one little squirt there, we hit 60 miles an hour with no effort. And it feels so civilized. I think of a Jeep with a short wheelbase and a narrow track. It's kind of like a pro mod on the racetrack, bouncing around and stuff. I'm going through a turn right now at 30 miles an hour, and everything here feels like I'm driving a car.
Yeah, it's amazing how when we're done with the builds, how much they still drive like a stock Jeep with all the performance and all the customization that's been done to the vehicles. We want the customers to have a modified vehicle customized that's a head turner, and it's not labor to drive it. Like you said, a lot of the older Jeeps, if you got to 70 mile an hour, you better be holding on.
Yeah.
And with these, I mean, I was driving above the speed limit.
I won't tell anybody.
Don't, please. With hands off the steering wheel, and they still track straight.
All right, I'm gonna give it one more squirt here.
Do it.
Oh, there's a corner, I better slow down. That make you nervous there?
No.
This is amazing. You are going to love the vehicles these guys put out at DTO Customs. You can check them out at dtocustoms.com. And we will be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat right after this. Woo!
Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat. You know, whether you drive a motorcycle or you have a semi-truck or a whole fleet of semi-trucks or a humble UTV like this one here, tires are so important, and perhaps as important as the tires themselves, the balancing of those tires. And that's where Counteract balancing beads come in. Simon, what are Counteract balancing beads?
It's not actually a new technology. What it is it's actually an internal tire balancing product. So everyone's used to just getting their tires kind of balanced normally as it is by using a machine to spin the wheel, find out how much is out of balance, and you stick the weights on the rim to counteract that imbalances. Well, Counteract, what it is it's an internal tire balancing system. So what it is the little micro-tempered glass beads, and you put a certain weighted discharge inside a specific tire size. And once you have the beads inside there and you begin to drive, there's two natural forces that come to play. So there's centrifugal force, which is the force that spreads the product around the inside liner of the tire. And then there's inertia. And inertia is what actually helps position it where it needs to be. Now, when you have this inside the tire, since it's a self-balancing product, a tire can have multiple different heavy spots within that wheel assembly. So by having this inside the tire, as it begins to roll, the heavy spot is going to become heavier and heavier over time, especially the faster you go. So the faster that you're going, the heavy spot's going to start pulling on the suspension. As it starts to pull on the suspension, they actually force the beads down to the low spot of the tire, counteracting those imbalances and keeping the footprint right on the ground. So it's a continuous one-time lifetime balancing system for the entire rotating wheel assembly.
And that makes it so much simpler than the traditional tire weights. Now, how do I know that the beads are safe for my tire?
We manufacture the beads out of a recycled tempered glass material. We remanufacture the material into these little micro beads, and then we apply a special coating and treatment to the product itself, so it actually repels and resists moisture or any sort of contaminants that are inside the tire. Now, we've been doing this for almost 25 years, and we have a guarantee since day one that if we ever cause damage to the inner liner of the tire, if we ever cause the tire to be not warranted due to the use of our product or anything like that, we will certainly replace that for the customer free of charge. And I can tell you in over 35 million applications to date, we have not had to do that once. So it is guaranteed that it is not going to harm any sort of tire sensor story or cause any sort of warranty failure within the wheel.
And they're super simple to install. How's the process work?
There's actually two methods of installing the product. The most popular way for the do-it-yourselfer is actually through the valve stem. So if you're taking a UTV or a motorcycle, for example, there's no TPMS sensor at the end of the valve stem, so you can simply take the product in one of our do-it-yourself kits and squeeze it through the valve stem. The other method of installing is while the tire is actually being installed new. You simply just use our throw-in bag system where you just place it in the tire, and that's it. Once you seal up the tire and start driving, the bag will break and the product will do what it needs to do.
Well, Simon, we thank you for being with us all the way north of the border there in Canada. All you got to do is check them out on the web, counteractbalancing.com. You're going to love them after the first try. At NHOU Protective Coatings, Joe's taught us a ton about fighting rust underneath our car. But Joe, this isn't a magic bullet. This isn't just a one and done sort of thing. What do we have to do to make this a routine?
Right, you're never going to beat Mother Nature. So what we're doing is slowing her down, and this is an annual application. You want to just be proactive.
in the course of applying these products underneath the car, you've come across something a little more heavy duty.
Yes, so we discovered there were weak points in our system, and one of them was the washout areas, the very abrasive areas like the wheel wells, the backs of the bumpers. And so what we did was we came out with a heavy-duty version of our oil, which will substantially extend the protection time.
How does it work compared to the other products you have?
Same product. It doesn't have quite the creeping ability, but what we do is we only put it in the areas where it's washout and you don't need it to creep. We can see it and we get 100% coverage.
How do I know this is the product that I want?
We have actually introduced in our shop this year what we call NHOU HD. So we've slightly refined the formula in the wheel well guard, and now we're applying this to substantial areas under the undercarriage of your vehicle for that high-use, heavy traffic commercial driver who isn't getting a full year on the chassis with the oil itself. You can come into our shop and we will spray the much thicker version of our product, the HD, on the undercarriage, including oil and body cavities, which is critical, but that will extend the protection close to a year, in some cases maybe 2.
Well, we can assure you it's super goopy. In fact, check that. I mean, boy, that's really thick stuff. And I'm going to show you how viscous this is. Believe me, folks, I do my own stunts here. Ready for this? That's amazing stuff. It is the NH Oil HD. And you can check out that and the rest of their products at NHOilUndercoating.com.
You're a braver man than I am.
We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat right after this.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, is brought to you by Stage 8 Fasteners, home of the world's best locking header bolt. Locking kits now available for all turbo applications. Go to Stage8.com. J-Cloud, it only takes one because one J-Cloud does it all. CIC Power Box, electricity, compressed air, and jump start capability wherever you need it. And by Tribotex, make your engine last longer.
You know, you can test your product in the laboratory, you can test it on the streets, but if you really want to measure your product, go to Motorsports. Anything automotive, it's being pushed to the max there. Tribotex, Pasha, how is it being used in racing?
Tribotex transmission really shine in cutting-edge industrial and racing applications. We had unlimited hydroplane team reached out to us. You guys can do something with our gearbox. We use nice oil there, but it doesn't really last as long as we want. They used to travel with 6 gearboxes to every show so they can last through whole season. We instrumented one gearbox, treated with the Tribotex, and then we seen several things. One, the temperature went down, so less temperature, less friction, more power goes to the probe. Second thing, this gearbox outlasted everything else they had. The transmission lasted 3 times longer, and team won 2 championships and break the lake record.
The heat was going into that gearbox, but now you've been able to take that heat and turn it into raw energy. So how much horsepower are you giving them now that they didn't have before?
On every coupling, gears lose some energy, so when we're able to recover it back, it goes back to the prop. So on this particular gearbox, on 3,000 horsepower, we gained about 300 horsepower back to propel the hydroplane.
Unbelievable. And what kind of forces are we talking? You know, physically, 3,000 horsepower, and you're turning that screw.
It is a helicopter turbine coupled to the prop on little tiny boat to fly slightly above the water. We talk about a lot.
Well, if Tribotex can work at forces like that, it can certainly work in your car or your motorcycle. Give them a look. Check out Tribotex.com.
Time now for the lowdown with Magic Creeper.
The great outdoors, time for vacation. The Dobsons are taking the old Dauber Cruiser here on vacation next week, and there's a few things we got to check before we hit the road, and the Magic Creeper is the perfect tool to facilitate all of that. Now, one of the things we want to do before we hit the road is check all the fluid levels, and that's where the Creeper really comes in handy because you can use it as a fender cover. Protect that paint job, the Magic Creeper just perfect for that. Also, one of the things you want to do before you hit the road is to check your tire pressures. And it sounds so simple and it sounds kind of silly, but once you're on the ground like that all the time, you're going to want to brake for your knees, and the Magic Creeper is the perfect thing for that, whether you're on grass like this or you're on gravel or pavement. And of course, when you're loading the car, if you've got a lot of heavy gear to put in, you can use the Magic Creeper as a bit of a conveyor belt. Just pack some stuff around, use the heaviest stuff on the Magic Creeper. It'll slide right in and out with no problem. And once you hit the road, the Magic Creeper, that's where it really shines. If you get into an emergency, you've got to change a tire, of course, once again, you're using the Magic Creeper as a knee pad along the side of the road. And if something's wrong underneath the car, suspension problem, some kind of leak you want to check out, well, Magic Creeper, that's what it's there for. You're going to use it to slide right under the vehicle. You're out here in the grass or by the side of the road. There's no room for a real creeper in your car. The Magic Creeper rolls right up. You can keep it in your car and it's there when you need it. And on the family vacation, hey, you're out tailgating someplace or you want to sit by the fire, you can use the Magic Creeper just as a blanket, something to protect you from the cold, wet ground. The Magic Creeper seems so simple, but it truly is amazing, has a lot of uses. You can check out the authentic Magic Creeper at magiccreeper.com.
Now, identifying a tire today is like reading hieroglyphics, man. What does all this mean? P, 255, 45, ZR17. It's just all foreign to us. Well, not anymore. Remember back in the old days, used to be what's called an alphanumeric system? Well, look at this graphic. It's pretty simple back then. You had a FR, the F being the load rating, radial construction, 70 is the aspect ratio, and bam, 14-inch diameter tire. Nothing to that. Well, today, it's called a P-metric system, and with that P-metric system, you could have a different designation for each one of these. Let's take a look at them in order. We'll start over there with a P. The P stands for passenger tire. If you had a T, that would be temporary, LT is light truck, or C is commercial. That's your first one. Then we went to the section width, and that's in millimeters now. So on our tire, it was 255. This one, it's 215. That's actually how wide the tire is. Aspect ratio, ours being a 45. That means that it's actually the height times the width. Think about a 51 would be almost a square tire, about as high as it is tall as it is wide. Next one's back to our R is radial construction, 89 load index, and then you have your speed symbol. The Z means it's a speed rated tire for a different speed. It's important to understand what tire, what's reading, so you can put it on there to make sure it clears and even to be safe when you're driving around.
Well, that is going to do it for this episode of Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat. We are sure glad you came along. We're really glad you came along. We will be back next week with something cool for you here at the same time, same sandbox. In the meantime, check us out on our Facebook page. And if you have something you want to see featured on the show, like this amazing Jeep Gladiator, just email Jeff at masterstv.com. Here we go. Let's do burn a little rubber.